Alright, hit the go live. Let's see if it takes, huh? How about that? At everyone, we are live. Well, alright, hit the go live. Let's see if it takes, huh? How about that? Alright, we sound good. How's everybody doing? I don't have Warhammer 3 up, so y'all are just looking at a black screen, but we'll figure that out. Meanwhile, what is going on tonight? We have a quick little tournament that should be nice and fast for everybody involved. It is like Sotek's tabletop tournament style, where you enter the tournament with one build. So there's no pick and ban, there's no build phase. You just load up the build that you entered with and you run it. Generally, this would make most people try to do a build that can challenge anything, because you never know what you're going to come up against. But from the builds I have seen, we might get some pretty fucked up stuff. I'm seeing some pretty degenerate builds out there. All right. So we shuffled. Some of this is luck of the draw. If you run into a build that is really rough for you, that sounds like it's really rough for you. The brackets are shuffled. Stormrunner sent me some stuff. Gonna check it off stream just in case he says anything untoward. Alright, that seems like a build. Storm. And then I will post everybody's builds and we'll get going. There will be no screen blocker tonight because the builds aren't secret. The builds are posted from the very start. So allow me to just do that. Bracket shuffled. I will stream all the way through, so leave a spec slot. Otherwise, we Gucci. Have fun. Stormrunner. Mossy. Super Mario Fried. Ever Chicken. Just making sure I post the build so everybody knows what their opponent said they were bringing, in case they bring something completely different. Then you can, call them out for being a lion piece of garbage in a for fun tournament. Wait, did he change his name? I think he might have changed his name. Yeah. That's John Travolta. That's Tron Travolta. Tron Gibraltara. All right, Mr. Overlord. A lion. All right, 3 more. I promise. Arius. Schnoz. And, oh god, I fucked up this guy's name real hard last time. Lukuna. Because I saved it as Lakuana. It was just a disaster. Alright. There. We have all the builds. People should know what their opponent is, are bringing. What do we feel like watching today? I mean, could watch Overlord. I am biased because he's my IRL friend. Boop. Forgot I should hit start. But his computer is laggy sometimes. Let's watch Ever Chicken. Ever Chicken and Phillips. What are the builds I'm about to see? Ever Chicken and Phillip. Alright, pretty nice standard dwarf build. Pretty nice standard Tzeentch build. I can get behind that. So we go to this. It's me. Camera's a little off center. Up. Well, whatever. Fuck it. Close enough. Metalhead, Amenephis, Coops, and Stormrunner. AoE Taunt 14. What is that? An Age of Empires reference? I'm too dumb to figure out. Today's stream should be pretty short, as all of these are best of ones. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should see 5 games today, because I'll cast both semifinals. What am I doing? Everchicken sent me a code, and we're getting in. Again, there's intentionally not going to be a screen blocker, because everybody should know. Come here, you dirty rat. Everyone should know what the builds are, so shouldn't be a secret. Is that an AoE reference? Too dumb to figure out. Only spam to hell when one player's ready. Oh, I see, I see. Map should be at the top of the page. Schnoz? Sorry, someone's confused about where the map is. There we go. Philip's here with a very, very funny picture. I don't know why I love that picture so much, but I do. All right. Never saw that tournament advertised. Maybe I would have participated. Rocket. Well, it's for new players only. Rocket. Rocket. You're too Omega. You're too much of an Omega gamer. All right. So tonight's stream is going to be a little short. We know that. Tomorrow we have the Warhammer World Cup, our second and last qualifier for this channel, though there's 14 in total, and I think that one's number 7, so there's plenty. That is domination mode. I know some of you don't like that, but some of you do. I'll be co-casting Platypus again. We had a good time last time. Friday, we are casting Cool Umbrella's nightly tournaments. That's 3 North American night time zone tournaments in a row. That's crazy! Oh my god! But don't you worry, European fans. On Saturday, Murphalurf will be streaming, not me, because I will be out of town. Murphalurf will be streaming the Storm Vermin playoffs for land battles, and then Sunday I will be streaming another land battle tournament from writer Mick Rightface, who's one of our patrons, and he wrote a book recently. So to celebrate that, he has a fun tournament planned Sunday with a prize pool of $100. It's just a normal land battle tourney, but the added flavor is you spin a wheel, and the wheel has a bunch of dragons on it, because the book is about dragons. So then you spawn an AI army to fight alongside you, and the only thing in that army is a lord on that specific dragon mount. All of the dragons in the wheel have a mount version, so it should be nice and easy, except for the Norskin one, which we told you, take a Frostworm and Throg. But, yeah. So we have 4 streams in the next 5 days, and 3 of those 4 streams are land battles. So do not fret if tonight is too short for you. There will be more. New players, well, at least it took a fun meme build. You did, Storm. You did. All right, Dwarves are ready. Tzeentch is ready. Looks like we're good to go. Oh, we're not on the right map. I wonder if that's what they're waiting for. I don't fully know. There's a moo cow behind me. Moo cow? Come here. Come here, bud. Oh, we have the Mukau. Look at the boy. Well, you can barely see him. You see the top of his head. He's right here. Look at the Mukau. Look at the little Mukau. Look at him. Look at him getting his scritches. He's getting his love. I have 2 messages. What are they? I thought you said you just pick a good map. What's wrong with this map? All right, Ever Chicken's pulling my leg. Tzeentch versus Dwarves. Some people say that this is Dwarf favored. Some people say this is Tzeentch favored. Personally, I actually like this matchup, and I think it is even. I mean, he didn't prepare for fighting Dwarves. He has a build to fight anything. But if you do fight Dwarves, I personally really like Village. I really do like Village in this matchup. I think he's good. He's good at grinding through the front line. He stacks up melee stats over the course of time, which is really easy to get versus Dwarves. So in the late game, he'll be a raid boss with a ton of stats. And Blue Fire isn't the best spell versus Dwarves anyway, so you're not missing out on a nice aerial angle to cast it. He can still take Infernal Gateway and just mess up some Dwarven blobs. So I really do like Village. But again, these opponents didn't know what they were walking into, so they tried to build balanced builds. Why would I? Son of Khorne, how you doing? How you doing? People seem to pick Dwarves to counter me when I take Tzeentch. It ends up being an oopsie. Yeah. Tzeentch has plenty of tools. Screamers are also quite nice. They kind of get that thing where they have anti-large, and that's a little bit wasted, but the armor piercing is more than worth it, especially with magic damage no longer being, countered by Dwarves. They have spell resist, not magic resist anymore. 35% magic resistance. It's spell resistance, not magic resistance. Benjamin's son. So Tzeentch does not get completely fucked. Because, man, if they had magic resistance like they did in Warhammer 2, Tzeentch would have the worst time ever in this matchup. Just the worst. But, yeah. Alright. There was a ping, and I had to make sure it wasn't for me. So for this build from Philip, it is actually a very good Dwarven build if you don't know what you're walking into. These have a lot of the core components. 2 Giant Slayers. Slayers in general are very good, but Giant Slayers also serve the purpose. If any large targets jump into your backline, they are good little sweepers and defenders with high speed, unbreakable, and really good melee stats. The Giant Slayers, just an armor-piercing variant of that, pretty good against heavy cav. Generally, they're considered expensive, so you only want to take them in the right situations, but they'll do the job. Other than that, we have Longbeards, Dwarf Warriors mixed in with the Longbeards. Just Longbeards. Just Longbeards. There we go. 5 minus the blasting charges, good in almost any matchup. Triple Thunders, which are also just fine. And then you have Thoric Ironbrow. I honestly think he is the best Lord in every single matchup, so why not take him when you don't know what the matchup's going to be? On the other side, for Tzeentch and Ever Chicken, we do have 2 Chaos Furies, 2 Screamers, 4 Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, and then we have a couple Marauders, more Marauders, none of them are Chaos Warriors, and then we have a mix of pink and blue horrors for some archery. Then we have a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch with the Chaos Spawn Summon, Infernal Gateway, and Blue Fire. The biggest issue with this format is that it favors Dwarves. You know what? You know what? You're a liar and a thief, Jack Sparrow. I would say that Dwarves are pretty strong in this format, but I still think they could be beaten. Elgy Cucks mauled and see that the dwarf chants. I just love how that was phrased. That's a good one. Elgy Cucks. Alright, we are mostly set up. As for who's going to win, I'm a little scared for Tzeentch. TBH. He has a good kit of spells for what he needs. That's fine. I don't know, actually. This might be fine. This might be. I'm nervous about the 4 skirmish cav. I don't think they'll have too much of a home. They can shoot giant slayers, and that'll be a really good use of their time, but overall, I don't think that the 4 skirmish cav is really going to pay off for the Tzeentch army. Minus the blast charge is going to fuck up this front line. But then again, you have really good aerial pressure. You can get onto those Thunderers nice and easy. I don't know. I'm flip-flopping a lot. In my brain, I'm like, these guys are fucked. Never mind, they'll be okay. So they're somewhere between being... Tzeentch is somewhere between being fucked and okay. Which I guess I'll just land on the average of saying the Dwarves will probably favored with these 2 builds. Probably. Because it's either even or bad for the Tzeentchians. As for the Dwarves, again, I'm flip-flopping between favored or even. I do think the Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors... There's no Dwarf Warriors, human boy. Get out of your head. The 5 Longbeards should be able to grind through a crap ton of Tzeentch stuff. Because the minus blast and charge is going to soften up the front line so much that these guys can just bump and grind. And then the Marauder Horsemen will run out of ammunition, throwing on their shields. And they should be able to just hang in there. I guess it's about how good of Infernal Gateways Everchicken can get off. Because I don't think Pink Horrors really have the stopping power to kill Longbeards. Everchicken's getting pretty good at Tzeentch. It is his main. It is his one trick. I actually don't think he's one trick. I think he plays multiple things, but... Whenever I see him on stream, he's playing Tzeentch. So we'll see. Dwarves are chilling. Vibing. Always be attacking. Artillery counts moving forward. Okay, yeah. So we are doing the simplified rules version because it is a new player tournament, so we're not trying to be ultra crazy about rules. So it's just like don't white line camp, don't forest camp, and always try to be attacking. So the Dwarves are now just moving up after assessing what was going on. And they waddle. They waddled into place. Meanwhile, the skirmish cav move in, get a couple throws at the giant slayers. Really good damage on the unit, because remember, giant slayers are 1,200 golds. It's like a brood horror. Or Knights of the Blazing Meme. Thunders are counter-firing at the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, but as long as they get out of there before their shields run out, then it's really no harm, no foul for them. And they are fine, because Tzeentch has been trading decently in these first couple moments. Then the front lines collide. Now, if you're an expert pro gamer, you can try and bait the Dwarves with running at them. Then when the miners throw their blast charges, you run away. That can be one way of doing it, but it's really hard to do. Caught up another tourney. Hey, Manuel. Manuel? Ben. I'm going to go with Manuel. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Tzeentch did back off the front line for just a second to get a little bit more skirmish in. They have a full surround. Now, here's the hard part, is the full surround has to all come in at the same time. And you can't really allow things to be too staggered. So that's where the difficulty of this comes in. We'll see how on top of it we are here. Marauders just getting shellacked by these blasting charges. Tons of damage, and the Dwarves already catch up. Again, not that much damage has been done. We are just in the start of the fight. Thunderers are going to turn around and try to defend themselves from the Screamers and Furies just by firing into them, and the Giant Slayers are on hand to assault those Fiends if they ever touch the ground, and with a tiny, tiny health pool, those Screamers will die right quick. So we'll have to see what Tzeentch can get done with the precious time his little flyers buy with their lives. And they are in. The Marauder Horsemen all move in as well to start skirmishing and throwing at some stuff. Looks like these guys are hitting Longbeards on the butt. Minus the blast charges used all of their blasting charges, but the Tzeentchian front line entirely fell apart. All of the Marauders are routing already, leaving just horrors, pink and blue, to hold the space. These Screamers are pulling away from the Giant Slayers. Back up in the sky, honestly, after taking very little damage, so good control there from Tzeentch. And these Furies split up between 2 Thunderers, meaning Giant Slayer can only defend 1. Cool, cool. Marauder Skirmish Cav still focusing on the Giant Slayers. That is the correct target for them. And Thunderers pinning them down for just a moment before Screamers hit them again. So, Tzeentch's backline pressure has been really good. I like it a lot. Frontline, the micro is fine. It's just the cost of blasting charges. And you threw blue horrors into melee. That is correct. You don't want to throw pinks, you want to throw blues. I wonder if this is worth Infernal Gatewaying. It looks like the Dwarves are trying to path past it, so maybe not a lot of them will get caught, but seeing this many unit flags in the same spot makes me think Infernal Gateway should be coming down. We'll see. And this is the scary part when you're playing a ranged faction, is when your ranged units have to start running away, because then they're not firing, they're not getting a DPS out. Thunderers, freed up, are shooting at the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, but they just got through his shields, and they are about to get compromised yet again, it looks like, so I doubt they'll get really that much damage out. Giant Slayers are still being hunted, and the Chaos Spawn summon comes out from the Lord already, attempting to pin in some of these Longbeards and Miners, along with the Blue Horrors. Nah, I wouldn't hate for an Infernal Gateway to land right here. As we mentioned at the start, it's all about whether Tzeentch can get through all of these Longbeards or not, and right now it's looking like not. They've shut down the Thunderers rather effectively. They need to send one Skirmish Cav after this guy and just chase him all the way off the map. If he rallies, it's going to be a bit more of a bitch. Thunderers have decent melee stats, especially with 80 armor. Smarter Horsemen of Tzeentch will have a hard time doing something about it. There is the Infernal Gateway. Looks like it catches 3 units-ish. These Miners are walking out, but catching Giant Slayers is pretty huge. And they're just getting deleted. Nice stuff there from Tzeentch. Tzeentch either even or ahead on the balance of power, but I think that it will get slightly worse for them. As you can see, the damage value has gone pretty heavily to the Dwarves. Those Thunderers did rally. They can fire down here. Furies will hop in and take care of them soon enough, but still. Giant Slayers peeled off a Screamer. Thunderers rallying again. But man, Giant Slayers, look at them. Look at how tattered they are. That's pretty oof. Oof on the other side is the poor Pink Horrors just constantly running from Miners with blasting charges. One of them died? Hold on, where's that other one? There you are. Yeah, he's fine. He's still running, though. Can you outkite the Dwarves' slow march forward? Probably not. Probably not. Marauders did rally, and they're just being used to hold Miners and Longbeards in place while the Pink Horrors rally elsewhere and try to get a couple shots off. Thunderers are out again. Miners are running off. These Marauder Horsemen are using their ammo on them. Though at this point, that's fine. Most of the Giant Slayers are dead, so you don't really need your ammunition for them. These guys only have 34 models and no health. These guys have 17 models, and they are getting kited. What are you aiming at? Like, I know you're aiming at the Giant Slayers, but you were not even close to hitting him. Ooh, did the Giant Slayers get the charge? Ah, Everchicken's on top of it. Just in the nick of time. Thunderers again routing off from the Fury Pressure and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Yeah. Dwarven Thunderers are shut down. You don't need the Thunderers to win the game, per se. Longbeards should kick the shit out of stuff. You have a nice potential of this around here. With Thoric and this Longbeard coming up from behind, this Longbeard should probably shloop and get in front of that guy. These Marauders will probably still be in range to run off, but you do want to shut down these pinks that you could just happen to get ahead of. Would be nice. One of the Giant Slayers is officially dead. And that Thunder is about to break for the 3rd time, meaning he will shatter. Tzeentch pulls slightly ahead on the balance of power. I would tend to agree. We still have some rather healthy Longbeards. But without any range pressure, even Skirmish Cav cycle charging can be pretty brutal to deal with. Still have a charge bonus of 24. It's not a ton, but it's something. Pink Horror is getting saved by the Marauders briefly to fire at the Minus Blast charges. Will get them off the map. And these Longbeards did get the Pink Horrors, but it looks like they don't have attack orders just yet. They're not really fanning out and attacking the unit. They're just walking. So that is a bit unfortunate. Pink Horrors aren't really taking any damage. And they are faster than Dwarves. Of course, of course. So if they can actually get out of these guys, they'll be okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Longbeards have attack orders onto them. They're just moving. I don't know. Some Thunderers are rallying. Miners are nearby. I wouldn't hate for the Miners and the Thunderers to try and meet up. At least form some form of defense. Because otherwise, if these Thunderers are left completely alone, they'll just get charged by some of these Skirmish Cav and rout again. And then they ain't coming back. Longbeards now have attack orders onto the Pink Horrors, but their little stunty bodies can't keep up. More Marauders are pushed off the field, getting rid of blockers for the Pink Horrors. But your Pink Horrors are just constantly running. That's not good. Skirmish Cav out of ammo, out of ammo, out of ammo, out of ammo. So this guy is like 1 volley and it's gone. So They're just regular light cav. Thoric's full HP. Chaos Sorcerer Lord does not have armor piercing. I think the pink horrors will have to kill Thoric, probably. They don't want to fight him in melee. Does he have the Rune of Wrath? No, he doesn't. If you have the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, that helps you a lot in long, drawn-out scenarios, because you don't have mana, so you can cast it infinitely as long as the game goes on. I really like that rune for that purpose. Dwarves pull ahead on the balance of power as they start to amass their filthy, unwashed dwarven bodies together and form one last stand. Though, as I did point out in a recent video, skirmish cav with no ammunition count really low on the balance of power, even though they're still fine units. I don't think Tzeentch is actually down on the balance of power. They're probably even, maybe ahead? Maybe. Because it just looks like there's a lot of them. Looks like there's a lot of Tzeentch going on. These Furies disintegrate away into nothing. Thunderers immediately rally. They were ready. They were ready to turn around and fight. But there's not a critical mass of them. There's only 17 of these guys. They won't do any significant damage. They should probably just shoot at these Marauder Horsemen that are running at them to get some poke off. I don't know if you'll even break the shields, to be honest. Huge Infernal Gateway. Is it actually hitting both these units? Yeah, it is hitting both of them. I wonder if it's Overcast. If it's Overcast, then it'll do pretty good. Undercast, not as much because of the Dwarven spell resist. Doesn't look like it's doing too much, so I think it was Undercast. Marauder Horsemen run away. How are the pinks doing? Pretty good. Pretty healthy. Lots of ammo. Thunderers are going to fire. Did they even break the shield before they are stopped? They break the shields. Do you get another shot off? Hold, dwarves! Hold! Also, let's stop holding and fire. Maybe do that firing thing. Oh no. Alright, they do get charged. More Longbeards are getting shot. Chaos Sorcerer Lord is fighting in the middle of Longbeards. Thoric is trying to find a home. Homey home. And we have the slow waddle of progress. Can we play next, Chaz? Yeah, you can play if you want to. Sure. Don't have to wait for me. Bounce Power's back to dead even. This game is just dwarves waddling after Tzeentch units. That's the whole game. Like, hey, come back here, you son of a bitch. Alright, this guy's under such little threat that he even had some shields back for a bit there. More Marauder Horsemen are going to charge into Longbeards. Fight for a bit, then fuck off. Miners are trying to catch these guys, but Tzeentch is faster. And the kite continues. Rune of Doom is going to actually cause some trouble here. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch is in trouble, as both these Longbeards have a higher melee attack than he has melee defense. But he's going to fuck off with a parting Infernal Gateway that'll finish off both those Longbeards, I suspect. Even Undercast, they were all in the center of it, so I don't think they're going to live. Thoric's still full HP. I don't know. I keep flip-flopping on how I feel. With that Infernal Gateway, I was thinking maybe the dwarves were done. But what can kill Thoric? Like, what? What can kill Thoric? Look at this. Look at this man. He's invincible. He's fresh. He's totally fine. The pink horrors have ammo, but not that much. 8, 12. It's 28 volleys. If 28 volleys could kill Thoric Ironbrow, we'd live in a better world. Rune of Speed on some Longbeards to get them through these Marauders even faster and get them catching back up to the pink horse. 38 speed on them, 38 speed on the horse. It's all about whether or not you get your charge animation, which I don't think they will, and a nice rear charge from Everchicken. Again, just trying to buy space with quick little sacrifices for his pink horse to turn and shoot. The Longbeards, 100 armor, bronze shields, and this fire is not armor piercing. It really isn't going to do that much damage. I think the prophecy might be true. I think there might just be too many filthy dwarves. Because these guys are rather healthy. If they can link up with Thoric to get their vigor back from exhausted and very tired back to fresh, I honestly think they could just tank the shots from these pink horrors, wait for them to run out of ammo, fight them in melee, and win the game. I'm struggling to see what Tzeentch can do about this. Some Marauder Horsemen are trying to rout off all of these extremely tattered units, and maybe if this Longbeard routes, it could start a chain route, but probably not, because look at these Dwarven leaderships. 46, 50 on the miners, they ain't going nowhere. Marauder Horseman's going to run away, but putting an enemy behind him might get him to actually rout. No, he'll hang in there. No, he won't. 0. He's at 0. All right, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Thoric's still chasing. Longbeards are still chasing. I mean, Thoric can't catch those guys. Again, I really want them to link back up and get all their vigor replenished. Watching Dwarves chase Marauders is like looking at your salary, keeping up with inflation. It's just sad. True. We are coming near the conclusion one way or the other. Another Rune of Doom is popped, giving everybody melee attack and fear. Those Marauder Horsemen did eventually run away. And I think the Dwarves will be coasting to victory. I don't think Tzeentch has the guts. It's literally some skirmish cav that are going to break at the drop of a hat, 3 pink horrors, and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with no Chaos Spawn summon. I don't think they could do it. Well, we do shatter off one of the Longbeards. It just routed one too many times, so I can't really keep up. Look at these guys. 14 leadership. Oof, boof. Hey, Herr von Dragon. Stormrunner, are you still in the chat? If you're still in the chat, have you started your game yet? Nice pink horror volley onto these guys who are fighting the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and if they route, they are right next to the edge of the maps. That could be pretty good for them. What are we at for volleys? 8, 8, 6. Don't think Tzeentch has anything to actually kill Thoric. I agree. I think Thoric can probably win this whole game. Probably. But it is a slobber knocker. So Tzeentch does have to be attacking with something at all times. Not all 3 of these pink horrors can run away. Again, we're not being too strict on the rules, but we do just have a little clause in there like, let's keep this going. No point just running if you can't ever do anything with running away. Which is not, I'm just informing you all. Longbeards get caught in a nasty crossfire. Without their shield, they actually take a good amount of damage from that side volley. And the last healthy Longbeard on the entire map gets charged by Marauder Horsemen just to hold him in place as the pink horrors lob some shots all of 1 inch in front of their face and then start to walk up because they're idiots. Another Longbeard is routed off. Hi, Grace. Grace is home. Pink horrors are going to turn and Gatling gun down some miners. And that'll be pretty easy. 80 armor is 80 armor, but look at how low their health is. Yeah, they're good. Last of the horsemen rallies again. This guy's routed twice, so if he routes one more time, he's officially donezo. And it looks like these pink horrors are just going to play tower defense. Oh, I thought they would just keep shooting at all the low leadership dwarves walking straight at their face. How are these skirmish cav back, too? There's nothing sacred anymore. I don't know what this guy's going to do with the last of his winds of magic. Infernal Gateway isn't worth it at this point. All of the model counts are so low that it won't actually do that much damage to them. Because the reason Vortex spells are so good is when you have 100 units, each of them taking 3 damage per second, that's 300 damage per second. But if you have, like, you know, 33 models, that's all of a sudden just 100 damage per second, which isn't very good. One Marauder Cav dives in and gets shattered. Another Marauder Cav dives in and doesn't even break his shields, but he's running away and his leadership dips negative. So he's going to rout, but does he shatter? No, he doesn't rout. Okay. Seems like you were negative for an awful long time, bud, but no, that's fine. Sigval deemed too strong so he doesn't die. Equals nerfed. I feel like there's a follow-up to that Son of Khorne. Pink Horror still blasting down the Longbeards. There's officially no infantry left that have really any amount of significant health. But the dwarves are persistent. God, they're persistent. It's like watching a glacier come straight at you. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch is diving in. Thoric doesn't die and does damage, and his AoE buffs and spells replenish vigor, which is absolutely strong. Absurdly strong equals buff. Yeah. Thoric is definitely too strong, but the Dwarven roster overall is struggling at the moment. It's not a bad faction, it's just a fine faction. It's a fine faction considering that Thoric is on it. So I hope they don't nerf Thoric and just leave everything else alone. I hope they nerf Thoric and buff the other lords so that they're actually worth taking. Pink Horror, 1 volley left, firing at Longbeards who are just gonna fight to the very end. How are we doing? 5, 4, and 1. So 10 total volleys. Thoric's full HP. I don't think that's gonna do it, Chief. Marauder Horsemen are gonna dive in one more time. See if they rout, and if they rout, do they shatter? Well, they're not gonna rout, though they do take some friendly fire, but shields them, take that. Imagine dwarves with jetpacks, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. We call those gun bats. Pink horrors run away from Thoric. These pink horrors are running into the corner of the map, so honestly the dwarves are probably going to get a couple shots on them, and these pink horrors are trying to shoot at minor splash charges in the back. Just beer kegs on their back. But the beer is slowly releasing through taps, somehow giving them propulsion to fly. Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch are going to fight miners. Their leadership is so low, I would not be shocked if we looked over and they randomly routed for literally no reason, because that's just sometimes how it do. Longbeard's fighting to the last against these pink horrors. Is there any other lord worth it except for Thoric? No. That is a hard no. Thoric is statistically just better than every other dwarf lord by 10 miles. It's not even close. These pink horrors with 1 ammunition will stop at last just to bunch up the dwarves and allow them to get harassed by these other pink horrors. Another fine volley. I all think it is a doomed effort. I honestly do. I think Thoric is about to carry the shit out of this game. 2 volleys left here. 1 left here. 5 left over there. So that's 8. It's 8 total volleys. Versus Thoric. Thoric Ironbrow. 120 armor. Missile resist. Physical resist, spell resist. None of those are magic resist, I get that. But still, 15% missile resist. He's gonna be fine. Tzeentch is chasing off the last of the Longbeards because he has to, because if he leaves them alone for even a second, they'll rally, because they're dwarves. They're dwarves. They're brave souls. And then there was Thoric. We need Malachi Mikeson. We do. That would be great. That would be great. Malachi's such a good character. We're entering minute 20. And look at how down on the damage value Tzeentch is. Like, Tzeentch has pushed off everything on the map, but like as far as actual damage value goes, he hasn't even gotten half of the dwarf army. Now a lot of that was in the Thunder's full ammunition that they were pushed off the map with, you know, and Tzeentch has been pretty good at chasing stuff off the map when it had a lot of health left. I get that. It just looks funny. Balance of power is still about even. Maybe even dwarf favored still. So these pink horrors are trying to run back to their comrades. These guys are going to walk up, use their 1 volley, use their 2 volleys, and try and do that. If this guy has any winds of magic left, it's going into blue fires, so I don't think he has it. Or if he does, he's getting up nice and close now, but he's going to overcast on himself because Thoric thinks. He's diving in. If I was Thoric, maybe just fight him. Maybe. Because you're not doing anything here. Following these guys around. They take some friendly fire from their little buddies. Every month, Total War doesn't make a halfling armor roster 1 more month. I take it personally. That is some nasty friendly fire from Tzeentch. And if he gets them a crumbling, these are not undead, ladies and gentlemen. These are demons. If they start crumbling, they're dead. They're totally fucked. Marauder Horsemen Cav are going to chase off these miners, I think. I don't know where else they would be going, but they're not going to impact this battle. It's over. This is the G'est of G's. Yes, fire your 1 volley, pink horrors. Shoot your friends. Shoot your shitty friends. No more ammo. Thoric's running after him. But these volleys have done more damage to the pink horse surrounding Thoric than Thoric. Just like stop and fight the ones that are in melee. Just take the fight you can get. Oh, he's doing it. Rune of Slowness. Oh, he lowers their speed so you can actually catch them even if they try to run. He gets like one swing off, but it's really not going to matter too much. The Tzeentch Lord is going to cycle charge in and out. Whenever he's on the ground, give him an attack order onto the Tzeentch Lord. Whenever he's not on the ground, just fight these other pink horrors. He really wants to chase these guys down, though. At least while the Rune of Slowness is active, he can actually catch them, and I get that. But it's Warhammer 3, ladies and gentlemen. You know this guy ain't going to attack correctly. He attacked correctly! That's illegal! I just said that wouldn't happen! So Skaven, so much wow. Yeah. So Skaven, much wow. But these aren't Skaven, they're pink Skaven. Alright, I have to send a message. You guys watch Thoric for a bit. I cast semis. Wait for me. Boop. And then I cast semis. Wait for me. Alright. So some of our semifinals are getting set up. And I'm just telling the players, don't start a semifinal without me. It's horribly important that every dwarf game ends at 35 minutes with their lord carrying against chaff. It is extremely important. I don't know why you would assume otherwise. So I was messaging people. Did I miss anything? No? We're still chasing around these goddamn pink horrors. If it's how fun they are to play. Thoric, just fight the normal ones. It's fine. Let them shoot you. It's not gonna do that much damage. You're gonna be okay. He pops the Rune of Speed. And he is in the middle of the ones with ammunition, so if you can get like one swing off, that would be pretty good. Start saving a unit of monstrous infantry for late game, especially to dunk on the bastard on his little throne. Yeah. Thoric, I'm begging you, just fight the ones that are walking up to you. It's fine. You're gonna kill everyone anyway. Honestly, delaying this is just allowing the Chaos Sorcerer Lord to get cycle charge after cycle charge, so he, like, Thoric actually, memes aside, should be fighting the pink horrors that are trying to fight him in melee. Like, he really should, because the cycle charging Chaos Lord is the only thing that could possibly kill him, and the longer we fuck around, he just gets more and more chances to do damage. Wish he'd pop the Rune of Onhero? Trying to figure some stuff out. That's fine, Yana. I hope you're doing alright. Like, Thoric has gotten so little done chasing around these pink horrors that they got full shields. Like, alright, guys. Alright, can we fight the units that want to fight you? I know it sucks. It's not gonna matter. Please. Please stop chasing the pink horse. We've done this for like 7 minutes. You're not gonna catch up. Oh my god. Alright, physically you caught up to them. How often are you actually gonna get off a real attack order? Oh, these fuckers are back. As if that's gonna change anything. Welcome back to the fight. See you later. Thanks for coming to the fight. And routed. And they're going straight off the map. And the pink horrors get an attack order, but they're too close, so they actually just end up in melee. Can Thoric get off one swing? That actually freaking matters. You guys didn't route? Are you serious? Charging. Fuck that you're charging. You were just running away, you pieces of shit. God damn it, leadership's broken. I hate it. Alright, they're back. Pink horrors are still fighting. There, those guys shattered. These pink horrors get an attack order. They're not far enough away. Thoric is gonna get back into melee with them. Thoric, just swing. Just get them crumbling so this farce can end. Surely the 4 dwarves carrying the giant throne won't be tired before the horrors are. Oh, they're fresh. They're vibing. They have rune support. All right. Thork is sitting in the middle of the pink horrors with ammunition, so he's actually getting the fight he wants. They're at 1,000 HP, which is not a lot. They're down to 1. Leadership. Yes, they're starting to crumble. And they're fucking dead. Alright, Thork has taken an assload of damage from messing around with this Chaos Sorcerer Lord, so he needs to take that guy out. So we'll see. Man, imagine if you had the Rune of Wrath and Ruin here. Rune of Doom, another cycle charge from Chaos Lord McGee. Thork also does magic damage, so these demons' physical resist does not help them very much. It looks like Everchicken's going to try and cycle out pink horrors that have shields for the pink horrors that don't, and then when the pink horrors that don't have shields are outside the fight, they'll recharge them, and they'll run them back in. So, we'll see how that goes for him. Thork is back to fighting, and honestly, if he constantly gets cycle charged by everything just getting shields, yeah. He can't catch that Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, so I hope he just gets whatever poke he can onto these pink horrors. But the attrition battle is weighing on him. Poor Thoric Thundercock. What I wouldn't give for Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Just kill them all. Oh, was it? Is it the Rune of Slowness? Rune of Slowness on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, trying to keep him in the fight for longer than a millisecond. Thork is turning. He's turning. But the charge continues, so just fight the pink horrors. Do it. Do it. Scatter some more, and it looks like the pink horror is about to refresh out. Trade with the ones with shields. Honestly, Thork might go down. Shield versus stubbornness, nice. I'm gonna make tea. Yeah, it's that cycle charging lord. He's doing his best. Pink cores actually didn't get swapped out for the ones with shields. Now they are. They took about a quarter of their health bar over the course of this whole thing. Thork dodges, he jukes the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Now the Sorcerer Lord's in front of him. But I don't think he's going to get any attacks off. Nope, he's just going to continue to get cycle charged. He's pathing after those pink horrors. He doesn't want to let them go. We've seen this song and dance before though, Thork. You're not going to get any damage out. You're just going to get cycle charged over and over and over. Show me the flying charge bug. The one where he just like hovers on top of him forever. I think that's like super common with dragons, not as common with other mount types. Rune of Speed, Thork's trying to path out onto the other pink horrors. Round 1 match, 30 plus minutes. Yeah, we're going there. We're going for the 30 minutes. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's Thork. Thork just Thorking. He gets actually a pretty nice charge into those pink horrors. CA. I heard people like dwarves. What about Cathay? Just having dwarves again is not game prolonging enough. What about shield wood elves? What about shield wood elves? What about wood elves with shields? Alright, he's currently giving these pink horrors the business. They're down to about half HP. How are you guys doing? You guys are doing alright. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch lands. Gets another nice hit onto Thork. That's another 200 health. 10 more of those and won't be in business. And Thork's gonna get a rear charge onto the pink boys. And he does minuscule amounts of damage. And they're gonna walk away. And they're gonna keep walking away. And they're gonna keep walking away. And Thork's gonna be like, hey, come back here. And they're gonna be like, no, we're gonna walk away. We're gonna go get our shields back. And then they say, fuck it, we'll fight you. You know what? We'll fight you. I don't give a shit. Thork's the dying what CA is to fixing bugs. It looks like army losses is hitting all of a sudden. Army losses did hit, and Tzeentch will prevail. I honestly didn't think they could. Ugh. Yeah, Philip watches this back. One, I think the Rune of Wrath and Ruin is a must for situations like that, where Thork is going to end up running after stuff. Rune of Wrath and Rune is great for that, but also I think just like I said, just chasing stuff around, as like tempting as it is, it just bought more time to get cycle charged. So just fight whatever it gives you, because you got to kill it all anyway. Fun gameplay. I love kiting. They should make a Mongolia faction where you can spam horse archers. They did. It's called Norska, Chaos, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Nurgle, and Khorne. I think I said Warriors of Chaos, but also Warriors of Chaos. These marauder horse bitches. Done. Alright. The dwarves were eventually run down. Ever chicken, sorry? How dare you? How dare you? No, you're fine, it happens. Super Mario Fried Chicken and Schnoz apparently ran into some issues. If you come over with me, the bracket's this far. So we have Ever Chicken advancing versus Tron Javolta. Super Mario Fried Chicken and Schnoz are fighting to fight Lucinia? I hope I got that right. And Mr. Overlord did advance over Stormrunner and Arius. So we have two of our semifinalists ready. I have no idea where Super Mario and Schnoz are along the bracket. We'll find out. Okay. Razorgore herds count as Razorgore chariots. What? That can't be right. Razorgore herds count as Razorgore chariots. What the fuck? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a good one. That's a pretty good one. All right. So, we have Tron Javolta. I don't know why. Tron Javolta. That is so hard to say. Versus Ever Chicken. What's the password to this game? Yes, I was... Alright, sorry. Someone was just messaging me something. Alright. Minobus. I guarantee you this game's gonna be faster one way or the other. There he is. The Minobus. We have a Bray Shaman of Wilds, triple Minotaurs with great weapons. We have two Wargors, and it looks like based on their speed, they're on their chariots. Some Centaurs with throwing axes, a couple Ungor Raiders, but it's mostly the Minobus. Tzeentch and Dwarves could definitely use a little fixed term of frustration to play against. What factions were played? So far, Tzeentch and Dwarves. Some Stalkers and Camo Skinks are laughing and playing. I don't know. I thought Chameleon Stalkers was still pretty good in Game 2. Not Game 3 as much. Ever Chicken! I don't think actually... I don't know if he was sent the code or not. But I just sent it to him. So we have this game, then both semifinals, then the finals. There's 4 games left. We have done 1. And the stream's been going for an hour. That is good. That is good. Hopefully we don't have issues like that again. Also, I don't know where Ever Chicken is. Are you done? Are you all done with target and stuff? Yeah. Okay.
I'm having fire issues.
All right. Ever Chicken apparently had to take care of something real quick after his game. But we are here. We just saw the Tzeentch build, so we know what it is before. And he's ready. Tzeentch into Beastmen is normally pretty bad for Beastmen. I don't know if it's as bad if they don't know what's coming, though. Because all these horrors... Yeah, they're not going to have a great time. Horrors are not going to have a great time versus all those Minotaurs. Your Marauder front line is completely doomed. Look at those pumpkin Wargors. Look at them! Look at the pumpkin Wargors in there! Those little pumpkin boys.
Hey, I just got done with the Halloween costume contest. Is it too late for some fighting? I would like to do some fighting.
I also know Mr. Overlord has Beastmen. So either we get a Beastmen semifinal, or Ever Chicken has to beat 2 Beastmen players in a row. Anything could happen. Tzeentch frontline gonna get bust? Yeah. I think whereas in the previous game, the Marauder Skirmish Cav wasn't super significant to the win condition. Like, you need them in their own way. But I think in this one, the Marauder Skirmish Cav are going to be everything. If they get caught by the Beastmen and murdered, Tzeentch is probably fucked. But if they stay alive, they could do a lot of damage to these Minotaurs. 35 armor, no shields because he's a great weapon variant. I mean, could be quite good. As far as the melee fight goes, I mean, Tzeentch is completely fucked. Their front line is going to get canned. Their horrors are going to get canned. And these aren't dwarves, so you cannot run away from them. Like, even the Beastmen, basic infantry... Wow, actually, pink horrors are 2 speed faster than ungors. Alright, 2 speed faster. But the Minotaurs, the Centaurs, the dogs will all catch you. We even have some archers for constant pressure. So, yeah, this is going to be a much worse game for the Tzeentch infantry. It's going to be all about these 4 skirmish cav and the Lord. I don't want to face the Tzeentch build in this tourney. Lucinia... Well, then you better hope Mr. Overlord or Tron Javolta, god damn that name, can take him out. Highway through the forest, lucky Beastman. Yeah. Double Wargore Chariot is going to be hell to try to snipe down. It could be, but Blue Fire, Blue Fire will do really good work versus the Wargores. Lines are setting up. And this is also a pretty bad map for this matchup for Tzeentch, because it's a small map. So there's not a lot of space they can run away before they need to stand and fight, which I'm sure after our 30-minute game, you're all fine with. I'm sure you're fine with the fact that Tzeentch has nowhere to run to. But, sucks for Tzeentch. Da, 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 da. Looks like the Beastmen are still setting up a little bit. Cattle goes wild. Yee. I just love watching some of the Beastmen animations. The Minotaur animations are all really good. Whether it's a Minotaur character or it's the Minotaur people themselves. Their charge animation is sweet, where they just do that, like, tumbling somersault. Is it a somersault? Yeah, probably. My cat is sleeping on his little cat over there, and he's adorable. And I want to show you, but I have a feeling that this game is about to start. If this wasn't a one-build Battle Royale tournament, and you were actually Tzeentch facing the Beastmen here, you would want the Marauders with Spears variant on your front line. Higher melee defense will hold for longer, but also in case of the Mino bus, at least you can trade a little bit of stuff back. The rest of this build is largely fine, except for I would cut the Screamers, because again, same as the Dwarves, Now this time the armor piercing is wasted, the anti-large is nice, but I don't think it's as good when there's light cavalry like centaurs that can run over and fuck you up. So I think the screamers probably aren't worth it. Again, if you're fighting this normally when you know you're fighting beastmen before you make your build. The caster's fine, probably cut Infernal Gateway and replace it with Pink Fire of Tzeentch. Pink Fire doesn't have armor piercing, but you don't need it versus the beastmen, but it is significantly cheaper. And beastmen are very fast, so Infernal Gateway is going to have a hard time pinning down high priority targets. Like, who gives a shit if Ungor Spearman herds are Infernal Gateway? No one. No one gives a shit. And we're off. The beastmen start to advance right away. Good job not advancing one at a time. You do need to all hit at the same time-ish. And this could be a good catch right off the bat. Now, these Centaurs are the Throwing Axe variant. I would probably just chuck them into melee if you can get your dogs around back. Rather than, obviously, you don't want to just missile trade with Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch. You will lose that because they have shields and whatnot. Ungor Raiders are set up in a good position to start firing down on the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch. Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch need to either fuck right on off, which they do, or take the fight with the archers. They do neither, and they end up fighting Minotaurs, and they are going to get fucking obliterated. And they're gone. Do not fight Minotaurs ever. Ever, 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 ever. The Minotaur front line is here, and the Mino bus is charging. They're already through the Marauders if they want to be. They can path straight into the Blue Horrors. Blue Horrors are firing at all the Minotaurs, though, so the Minotaurs need to keep moving forward. While you can trash can Marauders of Tzeentch, you shouldn't trash can Marauders of Tzeentch. You need to get to the Blue and Pink Horrors and stop them from being a part of this game ever again. Throwing Axe Cav are running away from Screamers of Tzeentch. We have dogs that are forgotten in the forest, but in this type of game, it is pretty easy to forget units because, you know, there's a million things going on. Centaurs are throwing axes piling into the front line. They are turning into a melee unit. I also think that is correct to use them as a melee unit. A bunch of Skirmish Cav is running off, fighting, chasing Chaos Warhounds that are already shattered. In Sun Tzu's Art of War, there's a patch that goes, if your enemy is making a mistake, don't interrupt them, and I would tend to agree. We have some Ungor Spearmen chasing all these Skirmish Cav. Just don't. If they're out of position, let them be out of position. Fuck them. Minotaurs are chasing down the Pink Horrors. Pink Horrors will not live for too much longer than Red Shaman of Wilds. Is now surrounded by Blue Horrors, which he really doesn't want to be. He needs his Minotaurs that are standing right here to come up and help him. Looks like we have a little bit of drop micro on that side. Infernal Gateway is going to catch these Centaurs throwing axes who are also surrounded on three sides. And it's also doing a little bit of damage to the Minotaurs with great weapons, but it looks like mostly that is the Pink Horrors doing such a thing. Wargor has come over to bail out his big friend. And the Minotaurs are remembered once more. Dogs were also remembered, so a couple of the units that had been left behind are being brought back into the fold, though I do worry for the Beastmen a little bit. Balance power is about even, though Everchicken is up on damage value. Minotaurs' great weapons caught one of the Pink Horrors and are managing to get them to start crumbling. Dogs will charge in on these Blue Horrors who are already mucked up in a Wargor, get them crumbling as well. And that is a good way for the Beastmen to get back in this game, is to start really crumbling off some of these units. So there's just not so many of them that you have to chase down. What is that, Traderkin? That is a Traderkin. Traderkin's meh versus multi-entity models these days, but hitting 3 or 4 units is pretty nice, and you'll get their shields down at least as more Ungors pile in. Minotaurs are stuck fighting either Blue Horrors or Pink Horrors, so they're happy. They're just as content as could be. We really need this force to get over here. We need these dogs. We need these Minotaurs. Minotaurs. The Mino bus has said so. It's not the Mino loose separation of states. It's the Mino bus. They need to all be together. They need to all hit a lot of the same targets, really rush through one area. Getting spread out, you can see they're just getting picked apart. Like this one is about to break. So these last 2 Minotaurs will have to be used quite well. We do have some rather healthy individuals off in the middle of God knows where. Centaurs throwing axes should be taken into melee with these Marauder Horsemen. Should be, rather than just throwing their throwing axes. We can see it's really... Oh, they're not even firing back. They don't have Fire at Will on. Okay, so they're taking free damage. Yeah, some units are getting dropped here from Tron. Doesn't need to work on that a little bit. But it's a new player turn. This is, you know... Wow, new players aren't playing perfectly! Jesus Christ! Chaos Spawn Summon is thrown out. If the Beastmen can withstand that, they'll be in a lot better spot, having that resource gotten. Yeah. There we go. Some of these guys are getting remembered, though these Centaurs should take out those things. Minotaurs are chasing around Horsemen. Probably shouldn't do that. Should be taking out these Pink and Blue Horrors, because you can't catch the Horsemen. I'm getting a little worried for our friends, the Beastmen. But a Traitor King does hit. It's going to hit the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, who has full shield, so I think he's going to be fine. But it will get these Furies and Screamers closer to crumbling as these guys just dab on them. Just dab on them. Look at them. Look at them going up and down. They don't even care. They don't even care. 2 more Horrors are going to disintegrate away. So the Centaurs are back. A nice Minotaur charge with a rear charge from the Centaurs. Nope, they're still in range mode. Damn. These guys have got to go into melee. They could have pinned in those horsemen and got rid of them. Rip. We do have dogs rallying on the far side. They could be used to chase down these routing marauders. They also could just be mass to help with fighting the pink horrors. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch is either going to blue fire this guy or just charge him. Alright, he's just charging him. Rip Wargore. But can he fight back a little bit? We will see. Spawn Summon is almost gone. The Lord should definitely not be fighting them, and it looks like he's going to run away. These pink horrors of Tzeentch are rallying. They have almost full health. Despite having no shields, these dogs do not stand a chance. They'll need some spearman support if they're going to get anything done. A blue fire cast does take out a little bit of this Wargore's health. Minotaurs, how are we doing? It does not look like good. Yep, that is the last of them. Is it? Yeah, it's the last of the Minotaurs. They're getting torn apart by the Screamers at the moment. Without your Minotaurs, don't know how they're going to go. What up, Texas Ranger Philip? Hi. Are you the Philip that was just on here? Did you just play a 30-minute game? Did you just play a 30-minute game? Nice use of the dogs to pair up with the single entities. So with single entities taking most of the aggro from the pink horrors, the dogs can just get a lot of DPS out without getting scared and running away. How much are pink horrors again? 700. Yes, they are. All right. Great Bray Shaman of Wilds is fighting the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, just trying to keep him on the ground as either the dogs or the Wargore could come over and help out. The other Wargore is stopping these pink horrors from firing into all these Ungors, which seems fine. Wargore plus dogs will do well versus Marauder Horsemen if the dogs can hang in there. Dogs of pretty much all variant are high DPS units, but their low leadership, low health, and low armor does make them rather fragile. Archers have rallied. They need to turn and fire at those Marauder Horsemen that are coming straight at them and maybe get the Minotaurs to get a side charge on them. It doesn't look like that is going to happen, so those Archers will probably be running for the hills soon. How is Tzeentch doing? Slightly ahead on the balance of power. Very injured Marauder Horseman with no ammunition left. One healthy Marauder of Tzeentch, and then a half-health pink horror that's currently getting chased around by Wargores. So the map is dominated by the Beastmen, but they're all so low. And already being a low leadership faction, they're not having a great time of it. But if they can kill that last pink horror, I mean, that's a full health fury. That's a full health fury. What's your verdict on blue horrors and land battles? I think they're really good. I don't think they're OP, but I think they're really good. They're a pretty solid frontline piece for 500. Kind of function like minus the blasting charges. You have to deal with them. Perhaps. You played well, Philip. I had some things to say about your game, so if you go back and watch that, maybe it'll help in the future. Or if you're like, man, land battles suck ass, I hate land battles after that game, I wouldn't blame you. That was a roughie. But you tried hard. I think Rune of Wrath and Ruin is just super good, though. I love Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Last of the pink horrors are gone! Gone, gone, gone. The Tzeentch Lord ain't looking so hot either, and all of a sudden the Beastmen take a pretty significant lead on the balance of power with that entire pink horror unit disintegrating in. Here's a big moment for the Beastmen. Get on him! That was definitely a mistake from the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, fighting 3v1 against single entities, and there were dogs nearby that could have kept him on the ground, but it looks like we have some minor mistakes as the Wargore is going to let him get away. No! Oh, that's tragedy. The Beastmen are going to want that one back. They should have surrounded him in dogs to keep him on the ground. And then hit him with 3 single entities for 1. Damn. Jack Norman, what happened last game? It was a 30-minute Dwarf versus Tzeentch game where Tzeentch was cycle charging constantly to keep their shields up, and the Dwarves came down to just Thoric waddling after pink horrors. It was brutal. It was brutal. All right, Furies have landed. Furies are getting their shit kicked in. And with Ungor Spears also joining the fight, they are going to start disintegrating rather rapidly. And negative leadership, so goodbye Furies, and gone. More blue fire spam, doing really good damage to the Wargore. It just keeps coming and it just keeps going. I thought Wrath and Ruin was bad for some reason. Never again. No, it's good. It's good. It's not OP, but it's like, I love Wrath and Ruin for exactly the situation you ended up in. When people are like, all right, we took care of everything. It's just Thoric. We can cycle charge him. I'm like, cycle charge this, bitch. Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. What's that? You want to go regenerate shields? Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. Take your time. I'm fine. Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. Wrath and Ruin. I like it for keeping people honest, but could be biased. That blue fire cast from behind almost routs the Great Bray Shaman, and he throws out a quick Traderkin just as a middle finger to this Lord of Tzeentch guy, getting a good amount of poke damage onto him, takes a couple health off him even after the shields proc, and he just dives straight in onto the Bray Shaman. The Bray Shaman's gonna break, and the Bray Shaman's gonna run. Wargore does not have attack orders onto the Tzeentch Lord. No! Tron Travolta, get in there! Get in there! Save him! Save him! Oh, he's trying. Oh, he's trying, but he's not having too much success. The Wargores are just running around in circles. The Wargores are just running around in circles. They just let him die. They just let him die. One of them's gonna... How did you take off? How the fuck did you take off? All right, welcome back to the ground. I don't know why you came back, but you did take off. This Wargore lost his attack orders when he went into their air briefly, even though he was in combat the entire time, and he routes off another Wargore. The Beastmen might be fucked, ladies and gentlemen, as they lose another Wargore. Oh, the tragedy. I didn't even anticipate my entire army dying, so I just brought speed and slowing for support. That's fair, Texas Ranger Phillip. That's fair. And it was obviously a super close game, but just saying. I love Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Alright. The Beastmen are just sprinting for the forest. Just get us the fuck out of here! Get me out of here! But he's quickly realizing he ain't going anywhere as the Tzeentch Lord lands on him, gets a nasty rear charge, and that boy is gonna break. And without him, I think he might be doomed. These Ungor Spearmen are both about to run. It's just the Tzeentch Lord versus 500 Beastie Boys. But the Ungor Spears, can they save their master? They can. Can they get any hits? They can't. I said they can't. I said they can't, but can the Wargore rally? Oh, hell no. That dude has negative 31 leadership. He ain't coming back ever. All right. This guy got bogged down in some spears. They're actually tearing him apart. Army losses is going to be his worst enemy as it is coming in. He pops Arcane Surge. He's just trying to get a little bit of Wind of Magic back. I don't know if he has enough for Infernal Gateway, but he could use it. But honestly, this full health Ungor Spearman really might be a problem for our friend, the Tzeentch Sorcerer Lord. He is getting real low. The sun's getting low, big guy. Beastman even on the damage value. He gets surrounded by dogs. And the chicken might be cooked. The chicken might be cooked. Oh my god, he goes negative leadership. He is going to break, and that is it. We have a Beastmen semifinals. Tzeentch is not our friend. Take that back. Oof, no Tzeentch kite left in the tourney. That was a close one. That was a close one. Everchicken played really well. He played really well. Tron had a couple mistakes. He had a couple mistakes. We're not gonna lie. We're not gonna dance around in circles. He made a couple mistakes, but he pulled it out. He clutched it out. He had really good spell targeting, which was good. He uses Traderkin on a lot of the right targets. His Wargores were very impressive. Liked them a lot. Liked them a lot. Biggest problem is the most obvious problem. Forgetting units. Which, there's no analysis to be made there. The analysis is, don't forget your units. The way to fix it is, don't forget them. It's not a very interesting talking point to talk about, right? But he picked a lot of good engagements. So, clearly, has a pretty good grasp on what his units are supposed to be doing, what his units are supposed to be fighting. Had a pretty solid build. I liked it a lot. We hope to see more of you on the channel, my friend. As for Everchicken, longtime friend of the channel, great Tzeentch player. Just, this build didn't have a whole lot to do with the Minotaurs. They bust straight through the front line, shut down a lot of his shooting for quite a while. And it was tough. The Screamers did all right at slapping him down. And his Lord Micro was crazy, but it was like a 3v1 in that aspect. So, yeah. Well played, both. At least the beer man will be fast either way. True. Trudeau. So we'll get Mr. Overlord in here, since Tron is Yeah. Stay here. We will get your opponent in. So looking at the bracket, come with me, my friends. This one just wrapped up, so Tron Travolta will advance. We'll have Mr. Overlord versus him. Meanwhile, Super Mario Fried Chicken and Schnoz are still figuring out their things. They were having some technical difficulties. Hopefully those will resolve by the time we get done with Mr. Overlord and Tron. I saw Lucinia in the chat, so Lucinia should be able to hear me right now. Do not start your semifinal without me, because we will be up there. There's 3 games left in the night. We'll try to keep them moving so some people on the East Coast can go to bed. Sounds good? Sounds good. All right. Perfect. I'm guessing Mr. Overlord also has a Minobus? He does not. He does not. I think he has 1 Minotaur in his whole build. He has a Jabber Scythe, I know that much. The Wild Slanesh appeared? Ah, they're back. Schnoz and Chicken managed to start their game, just saying. Hey, let's go. All right. Lucinia and Schnoz, since you're here in chat, can you get a lobby set up with the correct map, get both your builds ready, and I'll be right over as soon as we're done with this one. But since I'm already in this lobby, we're going to just get it going. Since both semifinals are technically ready. Beastmen mirror time. Alright, Mr. Overlord's build does need to get loaded up. I could go look at it, and I guess I should to make sure it's the right build. That looks right, though. He has the Jabber Scythe and the 1 Chaos Spawn, I remember. Yeah, that's him. So we do have 2 different builds, not just a Minobus slamming into a Minobus. There's only 1 Minotaur on the other side. We have the Jabber Scythe ROR, a single Chaos Spawn, some Gore Herds, Ungore Herds, Archers, Centaurs with Throwing Axes, and then a Bray Shaman of Death and Morgur. If you were to do minimum rules in a tourney, what would be the most crucial rules to keep, Goji? Well, Goji, do I have the tournament for you? I actually just did that. That's this one. There's no fruit rules here. For my new player tournaments, I don't think that new players would abuse the stuff that fruit rules really looks out for. So we just have unit caps on. Don't sit on the white line. Don't camp in a forest, just move through it. And always be attacking. Artillery counts, moving forward counts, archers counts, only spells don't. So basically, don't spell kite, don't corner camp, don't sit in a forest. If a fight happens in a forest, that's fine, but what I just don't want is like both armies sitting in a forest, neither of them moving, and they're like, no, you come here, no, you come here, no, you come here. It's like, all right, I'm kicking both of your asses out of this tournament, fuck up. And it's like, you know, it's one of those things where the argument is for sure, I think like, why am I forgetting his name? I always recognize him when he pops in, but there's a guy who popped in the chat was talking about like forest usage, and like it's smart to sit in a forest. Like, you know, you should do that all the time. You should do that in real life. It's tactical and stuff. And it's like, yeah. But also I'm trying to do YouTube stuff and I'm trying to entertain people. So if it's not entertaining, I usually don't want it. So it's like, you know, is forest camping a good idea? Probably. Do people want to watch it? Nope. So I got rid of it. Boo. If you don't like it, I don't know. Host your own tournament that lets forest camping happen. That's fine. That's fine. Make forest burnables, CA. I wouldn't mind destructible forests. Like, a tree can tank a cannon shot, but then it disintegrates. Can you sit in a forest and shoot out the other fools? You could. Yeah. Like, those are things that, like, could happen. I just don't like them, so I don't allow them in my events. But, like, I don't know. That's just a concession I make for the players. Lord Fire becomes the Lord of World Edit. That'd be great. Might have to join the tourney if I can. Goji? Yeah, I'm trying to host a simplified land battle tournaments for new players, or just for anybody, I guess, more often. I got a little busy there for a hot minute, but we're back. We have 4 streams in the next 5 days, and the next week is looking pretty open as well, so I'm trying to get back on it, but we just had a couple busy weeks. And this isn't political. Don't let chat get political. All right, I'm just talking about a thing that I happened to do. I was helping with the elections yesterday in the United States, so I was on the polls. I worked from 6 in the morning to 11-ish at night. So I was gone all of yesterday, which means I had to do stuff Monday to make sure everything at my normal job was ready for me to be gone. And then when I got back, I had to play some catch up at work. So these last 2 days have been pretty nuts, which is why you haven't seen too much of me. And then last weekend, we were going to have 2 streams, but nobody signed up for the tournament, so then I just took those days off, and I played some motherfucking Evil Genius 2, played some Cattails. I had a good time. But we're back. We're going to try to stream some more. Right. Alrighty, the Beastmen. You just saw this build last time. It's the same build you literally just saw. It's all the same stuff. On the other side, we did talk about Mr. Overlord's build, but we do have Chaos Spawn, 1 Minotaur's Great Weapons, the Jabberscythe ROR, Morgar, Deathcaster with Doom and Darkness, and Spirit Leech, 2 Archers, 3 Gores, 3 Ungors, 2 Centaurs Throwing Axes. Mobile game definitely goes to the blue side. These guys have the same units except 2 extra dogs. And then the frontline fight is also probably going to go to the blue team. 3 Minotaurs should just demolish the Gore Herds, even though the Gore Herds are better than the blue team infantry. Both sides have 2 Archers, so that also matches out. So, what we have is double Wargore and triple Minotaur with great weapons trying to fight this Jabberscythe and some Chaos Spawn. I think if Mr. Overlord's going to win this game, he can't fight honestly. He can't just square up with his enemy and win. I think it's going to be a lot of Doom and Darkness and chase. Like, let's say that there's a blob, right? There's a blob that forms somewhere, like 2 Minotaurs. If you overcast Doom and Darkness on the blob, and then this guy gets a terror route going, and maybe you can chase them off with the Centaurs or something, like really run them off the map, I think that's important. But, like, this Jabberscythe is not going to win a straight-up fight sitting in some Minotaurs with great weapons. So I think Mr. Overlord is going to have to be crafty to win this game. Yeah, McRightface, you can feel free to plug that stuff. Yeah. Add moderator. Human Boy forging ballots confirmed. Fucking got him, dude. What day is it? Desert maps. What day is it right now? I don't know what's going on. And I have a Beastmen mirror to cast, and it's getting crazy real fast. McRightface is hosting a tournament Sunday. It's for $100 to celebrate him publishing his book. I did mention it at the start of the stream, but it's also on Discord, and we'll announce it more in the future. Doom and Dark plus the Jabber definitely need to play a little more crafty, but he chose those tools. He did choose those tools. I don't think it's a bad build. I just don't think he can square up and, like, 1v1 me noob. Jabberscythe is already diving onto the Wargore. This is nice. He'll beat anything that blue has 1v1. It's just blue has a lot more stuff, so he really wants to avoid getting ganked. We do have the first Mino. Minos' great weapons sprinting at him. Wargore is going to fuck off for a little bit. And the Brace Shaman of Wild still has Traderkin. I don't know if Traderkin's actually that good versus the Jabberscythe. It doesn't have regen, but it does have a gigantic health pool. Ooh. Devolve. Yuck. 16 melee attack on him. And he's a little outside of his shaft because his animations took him a little too far. So he could get surrounded by the Minotaurs right now. We'll have to see. As for the rest of the map, rather than just focusing on the Jabberscythe, my bad, I shouldn't do that. Blue has a pretty good surround on these Gores, who are getting chopped up. Archers on a high ground position, firing down at the Ungor Spearman herds. But the center is very much going to red. I don't think there even was any infantry here, and this Wargore is not having a good time at all. With double Chaos Spawn summons out. Already? No, that's the natural one. A natural Chaos Spawn plus these Gore herds are really whittling down that Wargore. Minotaur's great weapon are dealing with the Vorgenblad Brood Mother. The Vorbergland Brood Mother. The Vorbergland Brood Mother, Jabberscythe. God damn it, Beastmen. What is with your names? They're not having a good time, but they are trading pretty decently into a unit that's so much more effective. Though they did take a fight in the middle of Spear support and Morgar was nearby, so it looks like this is actually going pretty alright for the red. Blue are winning both of the flanks, though. I got a little caught up, mishmashed my words on that lady's name, but this side is going terribly for red. Terribly. We have a Chaos Spawn summon that's going to go away soon. Mr. Overlord's only Minotaur is already running. His Gore herds aren't feeling so good. His archers aren't feeling so good. Everything isn't feeling so good, Mr. Krabs. Though, blue on this side did lose an entire Wargore for the effort. They've also lost a Minotaur, and blue is falling slightly behind on the balance of power. Wow. Minotaurs are not having a good day. That one's... I mean, they're rallied, but what are they really going to do in this game? This one's still routing and taking tons of damage, and this one's okay. But it's fighting a Chaos Spawn, which Chaos Spawn will trade up in that, because all the armor piercing is pretty wasted on an unbreakable unit like that. Morgar's running around, being tanky, being healthy, being a good boy, and the Jabberscythe is kicking the shit out of the Great Brace Shaman of Wilds. This Jabberscythe is carrying the whole game. I kind of doubted him, but here he is. He's doing great. But so are these archers. The Ungor Raiders are just teeing off onto this poor thing. 60 armor. Gigantic model for them to hit, and an Ungor Spearman herd even gets up behind them. So now the archers will be shut down, but they did a ton of damage onto the Vorgenblatt before it ran away. But blue did lose their lord somewhere in here. I can't tell if he's dead or shattered. Trying to find him at the moment. Looks like he is shattered. He's not dead. But no more magic for them for the rest of the game. Once he actually gets off the map, the whole army will take a leadership hit, which is, say it with me, bad. Now, second Chaos Spawn summon is out for Morgar. That is the uncontrollable one. There was just a unit that got low enough that they could be spawned into that. Mr. Overlord takes a decisive lead on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree. The second Wargore is also routing off. The first one we saw routing earlier is routing again because Minotaurs with great weapons punched him in the face. And that's looking like it. I really don't see what blue has left. They have a ton of dogs, but no real stopping power. If you can wait out this Chaos Spawn summon, maybe it'll be okay. But these two Centaurs are decently healthy. This guy is going to run around and terror out off everything. Brace Shaman of Death still healthy. And Morgar is full HP with tons of regen to boot. Can this single, healthy Minotaur with great weapons carry? No! Doom of Darkness plus the Poofenschufer Varderblart. Is someone from Missouri or Minnesota? I'm from Minnesota, but I ride the Struggy bus sometimes. With language. Chaos Spawn summon is slowly disintegrating away. If it disappears, the balance of power might get away from that army losses territory, because a full health Chaos Spawn this late in the game definitely weighs on such things. Minotaur's great weapons getting caught by the Jabberscythe a little bit. It is actually faster than them, so they can't really run away super effectively. They might just want to fight it. If they can get next to these Ungor Spearmen and fight with the Ungor Spearmen rather than all alone, they'll do a lot better. 15 seconds left on that Chaos Spawn before it officially goes away. Right now it's just doing that weird crumbling thing that they sort of do. But they're getting out a ton of damage on the Minotaurs, and they're even going to rout, and if they rout, the balance of power will probably tick over into army losses territory. Boom! Chaos Spawn explodes. Buying blue a little more time in this game, but a little more time to do what? Again, it looks like we have a couple units rallying from the blue side that are just dropping orders. As we said with his previous game versus Everchicken, there's not a lot of finesse to it. There's not a lot of Like, there's not a lot of analysis I can do about that. It's just like, yeah, just don't forget your units. That's the improvement I would suggest there. This one, it seemed a lot less comfortable than he did the first game versus Everchicken. Versus Everchicken, he picked a lot of good fights. This one, and to be fair, I was also surprised. But that first one where he got a charge on the Jabberscythe with his Minotaur's great weapons, they did not do as well as I thought they would. They got punked on by that big boy. Then they got stuck fighting in spears and the Jabberscythe, and they did not enjoy that whatsoever. So, yeah. I don't know. Don't forget units when they're rallying. And then this one was a little bit of build roulette, but yeah. I don't know what his Centaurs were doing. I didn't watch them that closely, but I know the first game that they were still on ranged mode. I think they could have been useful in melee mode, routing off some of these archers. As for Mr. Overlord, good build. Morgar was a nice staple piece that couldn't be sniped out, and Chaos Spawn summons. Chaos Spawn are good against Skaven. They're good against Beastmen for the same reasons, low leadership. So summoning 2 of them in the middle of the battle was pretty clutch. And having a natural one just walking around was huge as well. His Minotaurs got 1600 value, as did his Jabberscythe, so I didn't see what they did, but they apparently ganked an entire Wargore, is what I would have to guess, because they got that value from somewhere. By the time we even got to them, like 2 minutes into the game, they were dead. So they got that much value in 2 minutes. All right, very well played to both these players, but there is another semifinal waiting for us, so I will dawdle no longer. Lucinia has waited for us for far too long. We have not seen this side of the bracket at all, so both these players are new to us. We don't know either of their builds. It's Schnoz and Lucinia. Lucina. Jabber for the win. Sarah S. I don't know who you are. I refuse to know who you are. And Jabber was pretty good. We need channel emojis? I don't know how to do that for YouTube. And what you call a filthy casual. So for Schnoz and Luke. Okay, that is the right build. And that is the right build. So both players brought the right builds. Khorne versus Dark Elves. If you know you're fighting Khorne, you can change your build accordingly. Khorne is completely fucked. This matchup is horrific for Khorne. It is terrible. It is an awful time. But if your opponent has no idea they're supposed to be fighting Khorne, you can maybe get away with it. And that's Minobus. That's another Minobus. This is much more typical of Khorne these days. Honestly, after the Minotaur buffs, which I am all for, I am not complaining. After the Minotaur buffs, Khorne is actually okay. I still think they're worse than average faction, but they're no longer unplayable garbage. I think they're C tier with the Minotaur buffs, and the Minotaurs of Khorne especially get all the bonuses of the Minotaur buffs plus high leadership of Khorne, so they can really carry entire games on their back. Now, does Khorne still need help? In my opinion, yes. But if you are playing Khorne, pretty much no matter what matchup you're in, Minotaurs are going to do you well. It's really one of his only winning strategies besides that and dog spam. So usually you just go Minotaurs and dog spam. Most of your infantry is still not cost effective. Your range tools are non-existent or not cost effective. If you take a skull cannon, you're fucking trolling. Stop taking that unit. It sucks. Sucks and blows. Scarbrand's still pretty fine lord, but Valkia is usually the competitive choice. For the builds we have not seen yet today, 2 Minotaurs of Khorne. 2 Minotaurs of Khorne with great weapons. So we have an anti-infantry and an anti-large variant. We have Marauders of Khorne across the front line. A couple Chaos Warhounds, 4 Chaos Warhounds of Khorne, 2 Furies, and Herald of Khorne on his motorcycle. Okay, I haven't seen the motorcycle since Warhammer 3 launched, honestly. People brought it for a little bit, then they realized it sucked, and they stopped taking it. He's a buff bot. He's a buff machine. He has plus 40 melee attack. He has plus 8 melee attack. He has plus 8 more if he's in melee. And he has some regen if he's in melee. Though, honestly, in melee, he's so squishy and weak that he'll probably die. So they'll have to be very careful about where they put him. On the other side, Dark Elves. A new thing for today. What do we have? 2 Scourge Runner Chariots. 1 Cold One Knight. 2, 3 Dark Riders. 2 Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. 3 Dark Shards in general, a front line of Dread Spears. No, just Bleak Swords. Bleak Swords and Black Art Corsairs. Caster Shadows with just Pit of Shades. And then we have a Dreadlord. A Dreadlord Sword and Shield for Schnoz. With the Hydra Blade. And Strength through Spite. Alright. Dark Elves have a very simple win condition. Keep all of your armor-piercing ammunition firing. Khorne will die. Khorne has a very simple win condition. Stop them from shooting you. That's the whole game. Scourge Runner Chariots, I think, are a bait for Khorne. I think they're a good unit for the Dark Elves to bring, don't get me wrong, but I think Scourge Runner Chariots have such limited ammunition. You have 4 Minotaurs. You probably can't catch them with the Minotaurs if they're played well. And by the time you do catch them, they'll use all their ammunition. I think for Khorne, you probably just ignore them this game and focus on shutting down those Dark Shards, focus on shutting down the Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, let them run out of ammo, and grind them out in the late game. I think if you spend all your time shooting them, you're going to get shot in the butt so much it won't be worth it. Dark Elves posing this game with those banners, this is true. I love that you can take the sub-factions now without, like, revealing which lord you're going to take. It's so good. It's such a good change. It's like quality of life, but it's real good quality of life. Khorne has to be careful about taking engagements on the flanks. All you have to support you are dogs, so it's like dogs and Minotaurs versus Cold One Knights, Dark Riders. I mean, it's generally going to be a rough time. You can see the Khorne doggos getting hit in the side by Cold One Knights. They are not enjoying that, and they're going to try to run away. Minotaurs are going to countercharge, so it's all in whether or not Schnoz sees the Minotaurs coming and dodges, because if he does get charged by them, he's going to take a fuck ton of damage. But they back off. Interesting. I mean, they don't want to fight the Cold One Knights straight up, but if they got the free charge there, they would have done a ton of damage. Here you can see what I was talking about with the, if you chase the Scourge Runner Chariots, you're going to take a ton of shots in the back. They're not chasing the Scourge Runner Chariots, but you can see what I'm talking about with the shots in the back bit. They are not enjoying that whatsoever, so they just want to get in there. They want to find a fight, take the fight, win the fight. They don't really want to fart around for too long. Schnoz is doing well. Realizing his front line is completely fucked, he abandoned it immediately, and he's working on the flanks. He's trying to bait Khorne into taking fights in multiple places, and it looks like Khorne is going to do just that. Minotaurs get a decent charge onto Dark Riders, but doesn't look like they actually have an attack order onto them. Or something. But now they start swinging, they start killing. Dark Riders are hitting the dirt, and I think these Chaos Warhounds of Khorne need to turn around and help fight. These are only Dark Riders. There's no Cold One Knights over here, so that's just fresh fish for all of them. That's a really good trade for Khorne. I think it was an interesting bait by Schnoz, but then the Dark Riders committed, and then it became a massacre. Minotaurs lost their attack order to charge. Now they're getting charged by Bleak Swords, and their massive charge bonus is being wasted. You can see, look at that charge bonus doing great damage. You really need it. Fury stopping one of the Dark Shards from killing things. Herald of Khorne stopping another one, so really good play from, I'm going to call him Pegaz, because I forgot what his name is outside of this lobby. Oh yeah, it's Lucinia. Big Pit of Shades from the Dark Elves will hit 2 Marauders at the same time, but they're just Marauders, so really no one gives a shit about them. Minotaurs and Dogs are going to catch these Repeater Crossbows. Dogs should definitely be chasing them, and it looks like they will, so that is a good catch from Khorne. But you can see the problems that they're having. Dark Elves are up 4,500 damage value versus not even 2,000 yet. Khorne has taken such punishment on the way to the frontline fight. Now that they're here, the Dark Elves are just running for their lives, getting completely smoked. But it's all about the damage they take on the way. Oh, this could be a big mistake from Schnoz, though. We have a full health Cold One Knight that fucked off to Narnia and just now realized that it's in the middle of nowhere and coming back to the fight now. Dark Shards have been mostly shut down for the moment. One of them's routing. 2 of them have been running for their lives. The other one is now going to turn and fire at our friends, the Minotaurs of Khorne with great weapons. So there's 4 of those bad boys. Where are they? 1's routing, 3 are doing okay. All right, sounds good. Dark Rider's going to fight the Minotaurs. Even though they got a rear charge, they just don't have the stopping power to really get through these bad boys, and they're about to have the worst day of their entire lives. Repeater Crossbows, on the other hand, are having a field day. Dogs are up here. Dogs are chasing. Dogs are taking care of more Repeater Crossbows as the Minotaurs of Khorne gave up their chase on those elusive horsemen. And instead are going to find something they can really crush. You know, infantry. Great. Dreadlord is chasing around the Herald of Khorne and kicking his ass, and Khorne is falling behind in the balance of power. I would tend to agree it's looking really rough for Khorne right now. All these armor-piercing missiles are the bane of this matchup for sure. Now it's random build, so maybe Khorne could have pulled it out, but traditionally this matchup is considered terrible, and maybe you are now starting to see why. Armor-piercing missiles go burr, and a cav advantage is pretty huge. Nice catch from the Minotaurs, getting a nice charge onto the Dark Riders' Repeater Crossbows, almost routing them off, and the Dark Shards will soon follow. I just don't think there's going to be enough left in the tank. These full health Cold One Knights could do a lot of work. See what I said about Scourge Run Chariots, though? These guys are already out of ammunition. We're 4 minutes into this game. Now, Lucinia or Pegaz or whatever he wants me to call him did the right thing. He didn't chase around the map. I'm just telling you for your future endeavors. If you can't catch the Scourge Run Chariots, don't waste your time. They're going to run out of ammo anyway. Khorne needs to rally up a little bit. They can't let themselves get picked off by these Cold One Knights who are just going to roll from fight to fight and keep eliminating things. You got to stay as a clump, but I think it's just too late in the game for that sort of thing. I really like how Khorne played this. I think he played it well, and I think Dark Elves versus Khorne is just way too fucking hard. Because I didn't see any decisions Khorne make that I didn't really like. He did really well. It's just armor-piercing anti-large all over the goddamn place. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It was the semifinals of the Mino Bus. And it's going to be the finals of the non-Mino Buses. Rest in peace. Finals will be Schnoz versus Mr. Overlord, Dark Elf versus Beastmen. Another matchup that is traditionally Dark Elf favored. Though, you never know what you're going to get. Minotaurs of Khorne did alright. Didn't quite pay for themselves because they're very expensive. They're expensive boys. Marauders of Khorne just got fucked. Khorne Dogs did okay. On the other side, Dreadlord got about 1,100 value. Caster did fine. Scourge Runners did Scourge Runner things. Bleak Swords and Black Arc Corsairs got murdered. Dark Shards also mostly got murdered. But the repeater crossbows were healthy and alright. And the Cold One Knights did Cold One Knight stuff. Don't like that Khorne army? I think it was fine. Maybe one too many Minotaurs, but overall it's fine. Khorne armies in general are pretty hard to pull off. If you knew what you were fighting, if you knew you were fighting Dark Elves, you'd probably want to cut 2 of the Minotaurs. Keep the ones with great weapons, get rid of the regular ones. Replace them with Flesh Hounds. I didn't like the I wasn't a huge fan of the Herald of Khorne, so either take him on his piggy thing mount, not his chariot, or just don't take him. Maybe go with Valkia. Valkia's usually better. Not Scarbrand. He's too big of a target. Yeah. So Valkia is the Lord. Cut 2 of the Minotaurs. Spend the money on Flesh Hounds. You'll be alright. I still think it's... I think it's a shit matchup, though. So we're putting lipstick on a pig here. Like, if you find yourself in that matchup, you're taking the L. Like, it just sucks. I hate this matchup, dude. I agree. You played well. You played well. You just got outstatted. If you know you're fighting Dark Elves, you can definitely do it. Dude, I disagree, Loopy. That matchup feels fucking terrible. Feels real bad. Alright, everyone stopped recording their tournament wins, so I'm going to do it for them. Boom, Tron Travolta won that one. Mr. Overlord won the follow-up. Schnoz won this one. And I'll message Schnoz to change the map. We're on Golden Monolith. The Golden Turd. Schnoz. Oh, I offered a prize for this tournament? Whoops. I thought this was a freebie. Alright, we have the right map. Messaging Mr. Overlord to pick his army. He's hovering Bretonia for some reason. Like a chump. Alright, he's got his army up. Can the Jabber carry him to victory? He got this far. It's finals time, baby. Can he do it? I am so terrified. This matchup's tough. It's tough for the Beastmen. It's not as bad as Khorne Dark Elves, in my opinion. But it's bad. And I'm really scared for that Jabber, man. 3 Dark Shards, 2 Repeater Crossbows, 2 Scourger and Chariots are all licking their lips, rubbing their hands together, looking at that Jabber, and they're like, that is fresh fish. Alright, not that fresh. That is decaying, rotten fish. That is fish that smells... That is fish that makes fish smell like perfume. But it is free value. The one thing Mr. Overlord might have going for them is this map. I like Golden Monolith. I think it makes people play differently. The map is just a donut. The map's a donut around a giant golden turd in the middle. I think it's interesting how people play around it. With a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie and the superior speed of the Beastmen, infantry, I guess. The Dark Elves have way more cav than he does. They're going to actually have the mobility advantage, but his faction is faster than the Dark Elves. So he should be able to walk around it in such a way that he doesn't have to just throw his Jabber Scythe into a million Dark Shards, but we'll see. See what happens. The more I think about it, though, he is going to lose the mobile game. So if he fucks around the middle for too long, he's just going to get poked in the back. Same thing we were talking about with the last matchup, where Khorne had to charge the Dark Elf front line because they couldn't catch any of the cavalry, and the longer they waited, the more they got shot. Same thing is going to be here. Because he's losing the mobile game, so he just wants to get the frontline fight on as quickly as possible. Yeah. That's rough. That's why the meta right now in land battles is, well, one, skirmish cav, right? It's a fuck ton of skirmish cav. But it's also mobility in general, cavalry in general. Is if you can dictate the pace of the game, that gives you a lot of advantages. And cav's really strong right now, partially just because charges are really good. I don't see a problem with that. But artillery is particularly weak. Now, some of you might be like, the Sunmaker! Yeah, one artillery being good in the entire game does not the genre of artillery make. Empire cannons, bolt throwers, Vampire Coast cannons are all underperforming for some reason. We can't really figure out why. They're just missing a lot, which sucks. And cavalry, the skirmish cavalry is countered by artillery and or standing archers, which just leaves standing archers. And standing archers are countered by cavalry. So, hooray. Which is why the meta right now has been so mobility focused. It's like, well, if your artillery can't punish chariots and can't punish horsemen because it can't hit them, good for you. So war wagons, scourge runner chariots, marauder horsemen, marauder horse masters, marauder horsemen throwing axes are just going burr. Now looking at the cast, I really effed up with the Fury. Should have sent them after the chariots. Yeah, it happens. There wasn't a lot of great targets for those Furies. Maybe the Dark Shards, but the Dark Shards weren't your problem. Like, in the sense of the game, they were your problem, but you dealt with them effectively. They didn't really get too much value because you insta-sniped them with the Minotaurs. But yeah, chasing Scourge Runners at all was a bit of a mistake. It happens. Just dump that stuff downrange on someone for big refund. Yeah. Yeah, Sunmaker's solid. I don't know if it needs a nerf. I actually don't. I haven't really sat down and thought about it. It could need a nerf. It could not. Because it's 1800. And we've seen matchups where it didn't get to do anything. But if its target that it wants to shoot is there, then yeah, it can do a lot. I don't know. Like, Sunmaker versus Skaven is really risky. Because if I don't bring a Warp Lightning Cannon, then it's just going to shoot Skaven Slaves, get like 400 value, and run out of ammo. Had fun, y'all. Bedtime over here. Good luck. It's the last game! It's the last game, and you're going to bed? Oh, what? Oh. That's it. You're banned. You're banned from the channel forever. No, you have a good night, man. Ignore me. I'm just salty that you're abandoning us when we needed you most. But it's fine. Someone make yourself is fine. High risk, high reward. Yeah. Alrighty, we've seen both these builds recently, but to go over it very briefly, we have triple Gore Herd with shields, triple Ungor Spearmen Herds with shields, double Ungor Raider. We have a Chaos Spawn, a single Minotaur's Great Weapons, the Jabberscythe ROR Morgar, and a Deathcaster. And double Centaurs with Throwing Axes. On the Dark Elf side, we have double Dark Riders with Peter Crossbows, triple Dark Rider, one of which was shields. We have double Scourger and Chariot, one Cold One Knight. We have a Sword and Shield Dreadlord with the Hydra Blade. We have a Pit of Shades caster, triple Dark Shards, and 3 Bleak Swords with 2 Black Arc Corsairs. And yeah, we're here on Golden Monolith. Dark Elf's front line is going to lose, so they need to buy as much time as they can for their archers to shoot. But again, as with the last game, most of this is going to come down to the cavalry and repeater crossbows. If they can stay safe, if they can shoot, they'll be just fine. If they can't stay safe, if they can't shoot, the Scourger and Chariots will run out of ammunition, the front line will fall apart, and the game will fall apart for the Dark Elves. So, see if this cavalry can stay safe, stay happy. Same thing with the Black Lions, high price, but 100% worth it if things land your way. Yeah. That stuff used to be countered by other artillery, but when other artillery is underperforming, like especially war wagons, the reason you didn't used to see them is just like shooting at them with cannons used to delete them, but now if cannons miss all the fucking time, what's gonna happen? So the Beastmen were deployed in a mass vanguard. He picked one side of the monolith because he didn't want to get broken up, and that is pretty smart. If you're rushing on this map, unless you are confident you can win both sides of a pincer, don't pincer, because if you do that, let's say you go over here and over here, your enemy is just gonna boo and kill one side before the other side even joins in at all. So you have to, if you're gonna split up, you have to be super confident you win both sides. Because if you lose one side, then you shouldn't have split up. Scourger and Chariots playing awful ballsy, honestly. Cavalry falling back from that advanced flank, but these Scourge Runners got themselves on the other side of the enemy lines, and now they're getting chased by Throwing Axes and Chaos Spawn. But the Dark Elves do have some cavalry wrapping around to come in here and help out, meaning it's 2 Centaurs versus, 5 other mobile units. They don't really want that. They don't want that smoke. So it looks like Mr. Overlord is just going to fuck off. He is overextending with the Grog Hooves a little bit. He starts to pull them away. Thankfully, these guys do have regen, so if they get out of here without taking too much damage, they'll be all right. Pit of Shade's going to hit a Gore Herd. 2 Gore Herds. That's about the best you could hope for Pit of Shades on, in this matchup. There's not a lot of infantry for you to really get. The Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run are just committing to the fight at this point with the Scourge Runner Chariots, but they're not going to get that much damage. Nice surround on these other Dark Riders. That'll go okay, but overall, these 2 guys are worth like 1,900 gold, I think. They're currently not having a good time with it. While they're distracted, Mr. Overlord is trying to get value elsewhere, starting the frontline fight over here without all this cavalry. But yeah, the Grog Hooves are already gone. Schnoz is up to a quick lead. Infantry are here at last. Dark Elves can run away no longer. Ungor Spearman Herd pathing straight past the normal front line, just going for the Dark Shards. They don't really want to fight normal Dark Elves, and why would you? Why would you? Dark Riders will get terror routed off in a moment. These archers will be just fine. They won't even take that much damage, but the back line for the Beastmen is relatively undefended. Only 1 Centaur Throwing Axes here, and you can see that there's a ton of crap waiting to get at them. But the Minos have arrived. Plow straight through the Black Arcs. Black Arc Corsairs, not the Black Arcs. That would be crazy. That's a giant ship. I'm getting concerned, though. I mean, like, look at this mobile advantage, right? They got a favorable cavalry engagement because they outnumbered them 5-2, and now they're harassing the back line. If the Beastmen protect their back line, then they just get shot by Dark Shards. If they don't protect their back line, the back line gets run over by all these Dark Riders. It's just a lose-lose situation. It's really tough. Mobile advantage is huge. It's huge. Beastmen are catching up a little bit in the damage value now that they've actually gotten to fight something. Centaurs with Throwing Axes, fighting Sorceress of Shadow, doing good work against her. Another Pit of Shades cast onto Gore Herds and a Chaos Spawn, but that's a Chaos Spawn summon, so no one really cares if it gets hurt, and Pit of Shades doesn't do that much to monstrous infantry anyway. Jabberscythe is being shot, like we mentioned at the start. All this armor-piercing ammunition is bad for his little skull and bones. And Cold Knights get a nasty charge on the Monitors of Great Weapons, who looks like they used to have spear support, but it is now running, and they themselves are getting completely destroyed. And it looks like a tough game for the Beastmen already. I don't really see what they can do. I think Schnoz would have to make a mistake at this point. I don't think the game is in the Beastmen's hands anymore. I think it's all up to mistakes and such, but it doesn't look like they're going to be made. Scourge Runners and Repeater still shooting at the Jabber. Poking it down. Beastmen infantry are being just drawn across the map while cavalry charge in and charge out. And the Centaurs with throwing axes now taking a fight with the Sorceress of Shadows, but the Dreadlords here, they're getting shot by armor-piercing missiles, and they're also going to rout. Pretty soon it'll come down to just Morgar, and I don't think he's going to be able to carry this whole thing on his back. He does have a second Chaos Spawn summon in his back pocket, though something around him has to get low enough for it to proc. That one's outside of his control. 2 out of the 3 Dark Shards are shut down. So that is good. Scourge Runners are almost out of ammo. But I don't think it's going to matter. As the Jabber Scythe gets completely gooned out, it is now getting pushed off the map. And that might be it for the poor Beastmen. Whee! Maybe Morgar can 1v1 the Dreadlord and save the entire game? Seems unlikely, though. We have some rallying stuff on the far side for the Beastmen. It looks like they're just going to chain route themselves into oblivion. Maybe. Quick lag spike, because these Cold Knights will continue chasing the Jabber Scythe, and Dark Riders Pre-Crossbows are going to shoot it just for good measure. They really don't want it coming back, I guess. Don't know why. He's such a good boy. Such a good boy. Look at him go. Look at this good boy. One last Spirit Leech cast onto the Dreadlord, and Morgar's honestly holding his own pretty well, but the Hydra Blade is plopped, giving this person 600 damage. A lot of it is armor piercing. And Morgar, I mean, he only has 15 armor, so it's not like he's feeling that hot about this situation anyway. Beastmen have fallen so far behind in the balance of power that honestly army losses is about to hit soon. As repeater crossbows are here to start firing in. Mr. Overlord gave it hell. He got to finals, but the bad matchup feels bad for a reason. Jabber couldn't find a home. Couldn't get a lot of value. Just got pooped on. Poor little guy. Dreadlord did fine. This caster did okay, but it's mostly the Scourge Runners. Yep, mostly the Scourge Runners again. Repeater crossbows too. Cold Knights did great. They got a root charge onto some Minotaurs, took them down. Dark Riders also traded up. Infantry all got fucked, and single entities didn't do too much, but... Cav, baby! And that'll be it for tonight's tournament. Short, sweet, to the point. Hopefully people had fun if you participated. If you did not participate, then I hope you didn't have fun. I hope watching this was a nightmare. I hope you all have a terrible night. But that'll be it for me. I'll message Schnoz about how to get him a prize. And tomorrow, Warhammer World Cup stuff, part 2. We're doing another qualifier with Platypus. It's going to be a long stream. It's going to be a Dom stream. Show up if you enjoy the bantering of two friends, or if you enjoy Dom mode. If you don't enjoy Dom mode, I'll catch you on Friday. A Lion Amongst Men, thanks for hosting. Well, good to have you, sir. Good to have you. Good night, everybody. Good night.